Dr. Anurag, Dr. Anurag Sharma is a doctorate from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar National Institute of Technology, Jalandhar, in the field of artificial intelligence for healthcare. He is MTech and BTech from Punjab Technical University, Jalandhar. He has more than 15 years of total experience in teaching as well as in industry. He worked with various industries like Bell, Punjab Communicated System, and in various institutions like DVIIT Jalandhar, City Group of Institutions, Jalandhar, etc. He is currently working with GNA University as a professor in the Faculty of Engineering Design and Automation. He is recipient of ISTE Best Teachers Award thrice and is Wipro Mission 10X certified faculty member. Dr. Anurag has guided more than 25 MTech student dissertation and is presently guiding 6 PhD scholars. Dr. Sharma has published more than 80 research articles in reputed international journals, conferences, etc. He has received grant from Indian Council of Medical Research, Department of Science and Technology, and other funding agencies for his research work. So we'll welcome you, sir, in this fifth session of online faculty development program. We're very honored and privileged to welcome you in this session. So without wasting much time, it's over to sir. Session is all yours.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. So
Okay,
first of
thank you.
all, I would like to congratulate organizer of this FDP. Even I was in touch from last day also, and especially program coordinator. I want to thank Dr. Dipti Malhotra for inviting me here and to give me this opportunity for interaction with all the budding engineers, researchers, and all my juniors and seniors. Thank you so much, ma'am. Just give me a minute. Let me share without wasting my time and yours time. Let me share my screen first, and then we will start with the session. Ma'am, please let me know if you're getting my screen as
Okay,
well.
okay, sir. We are checking. Yes, sir. It is there. It is very much visible.
All right. So, participants, today we will talk about autism. I hope you all have heard this word. I think this word is, it's not a rare word nowadays because one out of every, you can say 80 children nowadays is autistic, right? So my basic PhD research work was on this spectrum. I have developed some diagnosis tool and I have some developed some learning technological interventions also. I'm guiding three PhD students, also those who are working on this topic only, right? The idea was that basically as an engineer, so we always do research for publications, right? But if we'll do something for society, it is very good for all of us, especially for society, especially for mothers of autistic kids, because nobody is helping them as they are all individuals. So if they have problem with their homes, as an engineer, it's our responsibility to work for the society, right? So in this 1.5 hour, I'll briefly explain what is autism, what are its traits basically, then what is the problem with diagnosis, how we can help others or especially mothers of autistic kids, because I have worked very closely with mothers or you can say parents of autistic kids, right? So our title would be technological interventions for diagnosis and learning, especially in children with autism spectrum disorder. So before commencing my presentation, I always acknowledge those who are still helping me in my research work, or they are always providing me inputs that how we can do our work better. So these are some persons: Dr. Khosla, Dr. Yogeshwar Rao, Dr. Mamta. These are all my seniors. Miss Anjali Dada, she is mother of an autistic kid, and she is president of one NGO, Jalandhar-based NGO, who are taking care of autistic kids. Miss Kanchan, she is also a mother and a member of SOCH. SOCH is basically an NGO which is working for autistic kids, how their lives can be improved basically. So some doctors like Gurpreet Singh Kochar, Dr. Anurag Arora from Prayas Labs, Bangalore, Miss Kavita and Dr. Pallavi. I always thank these persons because the work which we are carrying for the society is not possible without these persons. And I also want to thank all the kids and mothers associated with Soch and other NGOs whom we are working with. So in this short time of 1.5 hours, I'll give you the introduction of autism. If this word is new to you, then what are the probable causes, then some insights into autism, then some research areas in which researchers are working. Although, especially from North India, people are not working for autism, especially engineers. In South India, yes, people are working for autism research, but especially in India, in North India, there is no or very negligible research on autism. So then I'll show you my work, my students' work, and what are the field trials we have carried out, and then we will discuss some results, and then we will wind up, right? If you have any question at an end, I'll take your questions, right? So first come up with the word autism, right? It may be new to you. It may be, I think some of you may heard this word also. So it is a Greek word basically, which means self, right? So which describes the fact that sufferer seems to lack interest in other people. So this word autism, it has been taken it from the Greek dictionary, which means self, means children or individuals or persons are having no interest in others, right? No interest means they don't believe in making social relationship. They don't believe in uh, communication, right? They always try to be in their selves, right? That is self. So we usually also use the term autism spectrum disorder. So these are two terms we interchangeably sometimes use it. Sometimes we say ASD or autism spectrum disorder, and sometimes we simply say autism. So it is a pervasive neurodevelopment disorder that is exemplified by deficit in social interaction. So there are three triad of impairment. It's basically a neurological disorder. We can say it is not a disease. Please mind it. It is a disorder. So there is a difference between a disease and a disorder. So disease means which can be cured with the help of some medicines and all. Disorder means which can be improved, but there are no medicines for autism, right? So it is being, there are three deficits mainly in autism: social interaction, communication, and restricted interest or repetitive behaviors. So there are three main, you can say, triad of impairment that a children or a person with autism are having, three things, deficit in three things. One, they are they are not maintaining social interactions. They are, for them it is difficult to communicate with others, and there are some repetitive behavior and restricted interest. That means, repetitive behavior means sometimes they start flipping their hands, right? I hope you have seen some kind of kids, those who are, they are into their own world. Even if you can see in the diagram on the top of this, so these kids, they can learn, but learning is difficult for them. You can teach each and everything to them, but it's not an easy process. And I hope you have seen kids which are having some, different behaviors, maybe flipping of hands, or they are staring something and not responding to your queries and all. So autism, we call it a special children, right? Why special? Because these are the children who are having some special interests. They are not like our traditional kids, but they are special in nature. So these are some, signs. I hope you have seen some kind of a kids with some inappropriate playing with toys, inability to relate to others, inability to imitate. For example, if you have seen 2 3 years old kid, they may be having, if you will point out something, they will also look towards that thing, right? But with autism, they are not responding, right? They are having some different problems. They are having, every children is unique. You cannot say that one children is having this behavior and second one is having some different behavior. So one may be hyperactive. They may pick boiling that utensils also, that hot utensil they will pick, and they will even not feel that is hot. So there are some symptoms you can see in the diagram also. hypersensitivity or hypo also, right? Inappropriate laughing or crying. They always, having a poor speech or lack of speech, lack of awareness of danger. If something, they don't have any kind of a fear of height also. If something is coming, like car is coming towards them, they will not feel it that there is any kind of a danger. So there are number of things, there are number of signs. We cannot make it a count like these 10 things would only happen. So it may be hyper or hypo. It may be extreme case. There may be a, maybe a kid who will play with the toy, and for hours he is playing with the toy also, right? So there are some things which are, you can say, researchers have found that these may be the probable signs of autism, right? So I have also written triad. Triad means they are having problem with communication. They are having problem with social imagination. Social imagination means as a kid, kids can imagine something. For example, if they are playing like they have to play like teacher or teacher student, they have to imitate. So one would be a teacher, another would be a student. So they can imaginate each and every scenario. But that thing is missing with autism. If a kid is having autism, then there may be a problem that he or she cannot imagine. And usually this problem is having more prone into the boys. The research says that this condition, autism, is mostly into the boys than the girls, right? And even they cannot maintain a social relationship. I hope you have seen that movie, My Name is Khan, in which Shah Rukh Khan is basically having a problem which we call at autism. He cannot make relationship. He is having problem with communication. But these kids are very active in one thing only, right? They are having, by God's grace, God has given them one, you can say, a skill which he or she can maintain. That in that field they are very active and they are visually very strong. So I hope you all are getting it, because I cannot see you, but I am imagining that you all are listening to me and you all are understanding what I'm trying to convey. Anyone? Any one, two responses?
Yes, sir. We all are listening. Very much listening to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for your response. So, as we have seen that there are two terms. One is ASD, autism spectrum disorder. Another is autism, right? So we usually interchangeably use these two words, but there is a difference between these two terms. Autism is one category of ASD. So as the term spectrum means we have an umbrella of, you can say, impairments. So depending upon the severity level, some children are, like I have told you, there are three main things: social communication, right? Then imagination, and then repetitive or restricted behaviors. Repetitive or restricted behavior means those that they may start either flipping their hands or they are touching some hand. So there may be different problems. So some children, they are mildly impaired and other may be severely disabled. So depending upon their condition, there are five main categories in autism spectrum disorder. There are different names given to those disorders. One is autism. Autism is usually having mild, moderate, and severe, three types, and they are having all three problems with communication, with relationship, with restricted and repeated behavior, right? Second one is, now it is being merged with first one. According to 2020 CDC, this is being merged with autism, but earlier it was different from autism. In Asperger syndrome, basically, there is main problem of communication only, means social relationship is main problem. There is no problem with spoken any language or any kind of a repetitive behavior. So Asperger is having main problem with social relationship. Similarly, PDD-NOS is in between. For example, if the kid is between, autism and Asperger, is having little bit problem with communication, little bit with social relationship, and some gestures of, restricted behavior, then kid will fall into PDD-NOS. Rett syndrome is usually with a girl child only, where a child is having, a molded joints, joint problem is there. They are having hands like these folded hands. There is again a neurological disorder. One is with motor movements, another is with again social relationship. Similarly, CDD is another category in which there are moderate kind of a symptoms, right? So the most prone, or you can say the most uh, boys are with autism only. So that's why we have taken that ASD is interchangeably used with the autism, right? And according to Government of India, till date, there is one manual which we call Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. So this is generally used to classify disability. This is basically, it's a a kind of a manual. You can say it's a subjective approach in which doctors or clinicians, what they do, they have a list of symptoms. Depending upon observation only, they just tick, this is happened, this is happened, this is happened, right? And based on that manual, worldwide I'm talking about, so they label the child as autistic or not autistic, right? So this is a manual approach, which is very confusing, which I have discussed with even Indian doctors I worked with, the UK doctors I worked with, Singapore and Malaysian doctors as well. So there is no objective measure, there is only subjective, and depending upon each doctor expertise, they are labeling each child. So that is the main problem. So these are some stats. As you can see, that it's not a rare disorder now, right? In US, according to Center for Disease and Control, they are suggesting that more than 1% of children have autism spectrum disorder, right? Some are having mild, which is not recognized yet. Some are having moderate, some are having severe. So usually severe, they are diagnosing. Mildly, they are either ignoring, or they are, even parents are not bothering with that, what is the problem with them, right? So that was a US scenario. Even according to Rehabilitation Council of India, approximately 1 in 80 children is autistic. Now see the number, out of every 80 children, one is autistic as per Indian Rehabilitation Council of India, right? And even you can graph, so you can see the graph from 2004 to 2020. So in 2004, 1 in 166, then 1 in 150, 1 in 125, 1 in 110, 88, 68, 59, and last year, according to last year's surveys of CDC, it is 1 in 54. So that means this disorder is escalating, or you may say, with the advent of new technologies, more people are being diagnosed with autism. So that means this area is the area in which research is more research is required, and especially as an engineers, it's our duty to work with doctors, because doctors, they work with only with clinical aspects only. But as an engineer, technical know-hows of even signals also. Sometimes we have EEG signals, sometimes we have ECG signals, sometimes we have to work with images also. So as an engineer, you can pursue your research in any of the field, and you can extract that particular information for each and everything.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Sir, as you said, like in clinical scenario, like the diagnosis is totally based on subjective measures.
Yes.
So as you said, objective measures, like as you talk to the Indian doctors, so objective measures is not reliable solution. But as like I am also working on this autism background, so I reviewed so many papers, and what they actually do, they consider many biomarkers for the diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder, like we can say EEG, MRI, speech, or we can say multimodality, anything.
Yes.
So what will be your perspective, like to what extent these systems are reliable?
Ma'am,
Like
whatever you said, that MRIs, EEGs, and
yes,
all
yes,
other
sir.
things, as far as researchers are concerned, everything is being used. But as far as doctors are concerned, we are not translating our research into practice.
Yeah,
You're
that's true.
getting what I'm trying to
Yes,
say?
sir. Yes, sir. That's true.
So we, as a researcher, what we are doing, we are only concentrating on publishing papers,
Yeah,
right? So
that's
we are
true.
not talking with doctors what is their problems till date, by till today even. doctors are using subjective measures because they are considering that even in EEG there is no difference between a traditional kid and autistic kid.
Yes,
There may
that's
be
true.
a epilepsy seizure detection, right? So epilepsy is a problem with a normal kid also and a autistic kid also. So
Yes.
as far as MRIs, as far as EEG, as far as other biomarkers are concerned, yes, for research, there are number of papers you will find. But if you talk in practice, actually, doctors are not using at all. So
Yes, sir.
our task is, that's what I said in the beginning only. As an engineer, our task should be that whatever we are developing, that should be in practice, right? And slowly, obviously, if one doctor will use, they will recommend to others doctors, and finally, all community will use that. And then only we can have that this tool is authenticated and it can be used worldwide. So yes,
Yes.
as far as research is concerned, there are number of things, but in practice, still there is something missing, which would be the objective measure.
So
And
we, yeah.
we have tried. I'll show you. We have tried, and in Jalandhar and Ludhiana, we are even testing it, and we are getting positive results as well.
Okay, sir.
Right now, thank
Okay.
you.
So that means objective plus subjective, we can say ki like that will be more efficient for diagnosis. So like a single objective measure cannot be used. Like it can be considered as a single thought, like it can be, but we cannot say it's a purely diagnostic system.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Definitely, definitely.
Thank you.
Because
Thank you. Yeah.
if you will not, if you are making something and you're publishing paper and you're not giving that tool to a clinical person or any doctor for testing. So if a doctor will test, they will, for example, we have given a tool to doctor of Ludhiana and Jalandhar,
Okay.
and they have suggested that this would be like this. Now again, we have made some kind of improvements, and we again give it to the doctors, and maybe after 2 months they will give us back that please do this thing also. So that is a continuous process because depending upon whatever is a doctor's requirement, whatever we can do, so then only we can implement it.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So these are some facts about autism, right? I was talking like especially for India only, right? Because we are working especially for North India and specifically for Punjab, I'm talking about. So there were no specific records are found for India, as most people with autism in India have not been diagnosed. So there may be a problem with diagnosis with clinical doctors as well, or with parents also. Sometimes parents will hesitate. For them, it is a social stigma that we will not go to doctor. So it is like they consider autism is equivalent to mental retardation. So they said it is like by birth, by God's grace, he or she is like this. So will not go to doctor for any kind of diagnosis or anything else. So there may be a system problem or there may be a social stigma also, which are parallelly participating, right? So even there is a lack of awareness in some medical professionals. They may either misdiagnose or underdiagnose because again I'm saying there is no subjective measure for it. And obviously, there is a social stigma that this is by God's grace and it cannot be recovered. So these are some, I'll quickly go through these slides because we have less time and maybe some other day we can have full discussion over it. So these are some, according to CDC, there are some causes. So these causes are still in literature, there are number of causes given, right? But there is still no proof that what is the actual cause of EST. So there may be a problem with having a parent or sibling or other close relative with autism. It may be genetically also. Researchers are saying being born to a mother over the age of 35, being exposed to certain drugs in the womb, being exposed to environmental toxins, having a complicated birth or being born prematurely. So there are a number of things clinicians and researchers are saying that this may be the probable cause. But till date, there is no specific cause of autism which has been marked that this is the definite cause. What actually known is that in some papers you may read that some people are saying that parenting style or that use term refrigerator mothers. So that may be probable cause of autism. So, but this has been proved that it is nothing to do with the parenting style. So even I worked with some of the mothers of Ludhiana and Jalandhar. and they start crying even that someone is working with us for our kids, right? And they requested कि हमारे लिए कोई कोई कुछ नहीं करता, right? But why we are doing, we don't know. For us, one thing is that we are, as a researcher, we have to research, we have to publish paper also. But yes, when we started work with, हमारा जब aim क्या था, truly speaking, that we have to do it for research. But once we were into the system, जब हमने उनकी condition देखी mothers की, उनके parents की, especially mothers. Why I'm saying mothers? Because mother से ज्यादा कोई और care नहीं करता अपने बच्चे की, right? Not even their in-laws, not even their parents. Only mothers are working. They are coming to NGOs. They are coming to special schools. They are sitting with their kids for 2-3 hours, right? And they are giving training. Now we are providing them special technological intervention so that their sitting time should be reduced. So that was our main aim. So these are some myths. There are other myths also, but some common myths which I have mentioned in this slide regarding diagnosis. There was a myth that autism is a new concept. So it is not a new. It is around 100 years old. There was a autism kid 100 years ago also. Even normal children, like traditional children, they are having almost same characteristics as autistic kids, right? So sometimes with same characteristics, we cannot label a kid as autistic kid. And autism is not a mental retardation. So there is a difference between MR and autism. In case of MR, the IQ level is very, very, very low. That means they even cannot learn anything. But with autism, the kids can learn, but with special interventions. Causes, as I have already told you, that sometimes people say that autism is caused by MMR vaccine, which is usually injected at around age of 3. But there is no such kind of a proof that MMR is a cause for vaccine. Refrigerator mother, I have already told you, the refrigerator means those who are having lack of empathy and mothers who don't love their kids. So there is no such kind of a thing. And it's not solely responsible by the environmental factors. So these are some insights, like it's 73 ago, autism was being mystifying and massively researched. So diagnosis is the main problem. Why? Because see, there is no medicine for autism. What we can do is, if we diagnose at an early stage, we can develop some kind of interventions so that kids would start learning at very early stage. If for example, let's take two scenarios. If a kid is being diagnosed at, let's say, 3.5 years, another kid is being diagnosed at 7 years. So obviously, the kid who is diagnosed at 3.5 years will start its interventions. Intervention means that we can have special kind of methodologies through which we are teaching those kids. For example, we have to teach those kids toileting training also, right? How to brush also. For example, for a normal kid, even we can imitate, like we have to do brush like this, and a kid will start doing brushing. But autistic kid will not do such kind of imitation also. And toileting training, even we have to give specially in a different ways also. So early diagnosis means early intervention, or we can improve the life of, see, you are not improving the life of only autistic kid, their family life will also be improved. Why? Because if the mothers are working with them, families again dependent upon mothers. So ultimately you are improving one family only, not one person or one kid only. So diagnosis of this condition was stuck in dark ages and was still a confusing and non-standardized process with doctors. So they are delivering their verdict by observing. There are some different standards which I will discuss, not thoroughly, but I'll discuss one or two only. So the main research, what we can do is that we can improve the diagnosis system and we can make it in practice instead of only publication of papers and all. And the second problem, which even we have seen in literature, or which we have even when we talk with mothers and families and NGOs, doctors, clinicians, what we have found that autistic kids, they are having problem with, as we have seen that they are having problem with social relationship. And some researchers, they have claimed that the kid with autism, they are not recognizing the faces, or for them, faces and objects are same thing. So even that was an area of research, that whether they are recognizing faces or not. And according to cognitive psychology, they are considering that as a human being, we all, at an age of 6 months, we start recognizing faces. So these two, three areas are very crucial for autism research, because diagnosis, social communication, social relationship, and social communication, these are the three things, two things. And repetitive behavior, what researchers are saying and what we have discussed with the parents and other persons, they say that when a person is not busy, they start either flipping of hands or whatever be their hobbies, right? So either repetitive hands or flipping of hands or staring to someone. There is a meltdown situation when they are having unknown circumstances. So those kids, they like a structured environment. Structured environment means, like in India now, awareness is coming, but let's say 6, 7 years back, there was very little awareness, especially in North India. In South India, we are having awareness about autism in developed countries. Like I visited UK also. So there are separate malls, separate rooms also. We call them silent rooms, where the children with autism will go and they can shop themselves, right? Because they are having provision for special children. They are having insurances for those autistic kids. They have made environment like which is autism friendly. Autism friendly means they cannot, these kids, they don't like, for example, a crowdy place, because for them everything is creating a problem. They are having sensory problems. Sensory means, as a human being, we have everything in sync. Like we have a sensory organ, our nose, our tongue, our skin, our ears, and they are all, in sync. Whatever I'm speaking, you are listening through your ears, your brain is processing, you are responding with your hands or your eyes, whatever. But with autism, there is problem we call sensory overload. Sensory overload means all, let's say five, usually there are seven sensory, there is a vestibular also, but those five are, if I'm listening something, if I'm watching something, if I'm smelling something, these three things are not interrelated with each other in case of autism. So there are a number of things in which you can pursue your research. This is a very vast area. In this presentation, I have covered only 2-3 things, and briefly I will go through these so that you should have idea that what can be done, how you can help the society as well, right? So early diagnosis is the main thing. And what are the benefits? Starting of early intervention, decreased family strain, reduction in societal cost, prior recognition of medical condition. So if you know the kid is hyper or hypo, if you know what are the preconditions for any medical treatments, then it is always easy for you if the diagnosis at an early stage.
So there is one question.
Yes,
Sir, there has been some studies like they have considered the data of infants and they have analyzed the brain structure of infants. So to check whether the child is autistic, like whether that particular infant is autistic or not. So to what extent that studies are reliable? What you say, like MRI can be considered as a biomarker, like
Ma'am,
for early diagnosis?
according whatever I have read, whatever my students have discussed with me, whatever is with we are discussing, maybe every month we have a visit with doctors, especially a neurosurgeon. So till date, there is no such kind of a thing that through EEG or through MRI scan that we can differentiate a kid is either autistic or not.
Okay.
Practically speaking,
Okay.
yes, of course, as far as research papers are concerned, there are some papers, even I have read some papers in which there are different MRI patterns of kids, of infants and others. They are proving something, but I don't know like at what extent that is true or not.
Okay,
In
sir.
Indian scenario, especially, I'm talking about North India, maybe some different studies, because when something is not happening practically, because Indian doctors are not, they're giving the proofs that MRI is distinguishing between
Yeah, that's true.
different patterns of brains between autistic and non-autistic. We cannot say anything about that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So these are some, screening and diagnosis methods. There is a difference between screening and diagnosis. Screening means like it is pre-diagnosis, like that kid may be autistic, right? Diagnosis means after 3-4 visits, a doctor is labeling a child as an autistic. So why they are not labeling in first visit? Because even they are not sure during the first visit. So once they match with all the standards, like out of this, CARS is the main standard. That is a gold standard. All the doctors are following, especially in North India. It is Childhood Autism Rating Scale. It is based on a manual scanning. Again, there are 15 symptoms they are taking care with a scale of 60. They are manually either putting 2, 3. Again, whatever I'm saying is that according to doctors or whatever paper we have read. Still, there is a confusion that which standard to opt. Usually, people opt ADOS also, that observation-based method also. Universally, DSM-5 nowadays doctors are using, but they are already doing with CARS, which is a gold standard for it. So face recognition, I have already told you there are three main aspects. One is diagnosis, which is very crucial. Once you are done with diagnosis, the next part may be, next impairment may be, what is the reason that autistic kids are not, making relationship with others, right? So faces are very important. Obviously, you always identify your identity, emotions, eye gazing through faces. So faces are very important. You can say stimuli. So in our brain, we have one area we call FFA, fusiform face area, which is responsible for identification of faces, right? And research says that typically developed means those who are normally developing kids, they start perceiving faces at around 6 months of age, right? And there are invariable findings that ASD in their diminished interest of faces means those kids, they don't show any kind of interest in faces. So obviously there is one more invariable finding in literature that these kids are very fond of visual technologies. They love to play games on either tabletop or mobile phones over tablet or other devices. So these can be one media through which we can teach students each and everything and in an automatic way. So these are three main focus area of our research in which my students are working, especially in diagnosis, face recognition, and learning with some technological intervention. That see, my students, they are working on small things. We are not doing something very big. We are not developing some kind of a rocket science, you can say. Whatever inputs we are getting from NGOs, we are developing those technological interventions. Maybe it may be either a simple game, like if they are doing it like vocational training for autistic kids, for example. So they have to beading into some pearls into some thread, जिसको हम बोलते हैं ना कि धागे में मोती पिरोने हैं. तो अगर उनको वो ट्रेनिंग देनी है, it takes maybe couple of weeks manually. But if we can develop them Android game, and those kids also like rewards. There are levels. For example, in first level, it would be easier level. Like one of my, you can say, participant, autistic kid, he loves that फटाफट. Have you seen that फटाफट? जो एक वो होती हैं कैंडीज होती हैं फटाफट वाली, that Hajmola type. Have you seen that? Anybody? Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir, we are listening.
Okay. So those kids needs rewards. Rewards means, for example, obviously we feel motivated if we are being appreciated by someone. So for every achievement, there are some rewards for them. For example, that kid, he loves to love to eat that candy, basically fatafat. So we have given them that if he will complete this level, virtually he will receive fatafat, and his mother will give that candy to that person. If at the end of the task, if he is achieving 4 candies, those 4 candies will be given to him. That means everything would be related with rewards. If we are doing some kind of a technological interventions, we always have to give reward to that kid also. Then only he or she will be motivated and they will complete all the levels. So they also feel if you are giving them challenge means if first level will be completed, if second level would be same as the first, they will lose interest and they will be into their own world, right? So if the game would be interesting, then one level, for example, a matching game or a bidding game in which you have to collect all the red color balls, then all the green color balls, then the second level would be difficult than the first. And in second level, there would be more rewards. That means we are engaging that child into those, you can say, technological interventions. And involving means they are learning something, their mothers are free at that time, and students are learning. They will save their time, they will learn at the same time, and there are other advantages as well. So I'll skip this part because these are some research area. I have already told you that diagnosis is still in dark ages. We are trying that with doctors' help, with parents' help. There should be some kind of objective method through which we can find out that, not find out exactly, but at least we can find out at 70% that yes, this child is autistic, and we can start intervention as an early stage. And we can send those kids to special schools or to NGOs so that they can start learning in different ways. So if a kid with autism will study with normal kids, probably they may not learn something because learning methodologies are different for those kids, right? They are visually strong. If you will write something on blackboard, A, B, C, D, if we have to teach, they will not learn at all. If you give them visually that this is like A, this is the way how you write A, then probably they will learn. So there are a number of things which they have to teach, but with different style. So diagnosis, one main thing. Face processing, as ma'am has rightly said, there are number of things, there are number of methods. Even what research is saying that EEG is one of the accurate method of recognizing or diagnosing autism. But practically speaking, with autistic kid, it is not possible. You cannot connect electrodes over the head of that autistic kid for longer duration, even not more than for 5 minutes, because they will remove it. Even there are EEG caps also. Even one more thing, if we are doing MRI scans or other scans, in that case, doctors usually give anesthesia to the students. And practically speaking, that is, uh, it is impossible for researchers also if we are giving anesthesia to the kids and we are taking it, their EEG or other scans, whether they are producing good results or not, right? So in our research, we have tried for EEG also. We have tried for even this. In this presentation, I'm showing you, we are using one GSR also, that is also, giving good results. GSR is galvanic skin response. We also call it sometimes skin conductance response, which is, one method through which we can take signals from our hands also, right? So we have used EEG also, but for us, EEG is very difficult task. As the kids, they you can say, without anesthesia, it is impossible to connect EEG cap or EEG signal to electrodes connection to their head, right? So that's why we have taken GSR signals also. GSR is easier as compared to EEG, and even GSR signal is proving good result. They are in literature, they are having good record, good results for autistic kids. So intervention, I have already told you that mothers are occupied most of the times with the kids. So our task was that if there are some skills which we can train them through some tab based, or you can say mobile phone app based application, so it would be good for us. So in our work, we mainly focused on diagnosis, then through GSR signal, yes, on face processing. Then we have developed some kind of a basic apps, and those are apps being used at different centers, and those apps have been proven as a they're giving good results, I'll say, right? So this was our methodology. that we have carried out our literature work. We have meetings with parents, clinicians, doctors, caretakers. Then main task was that what are the input symptoms, that like cars is using 15 symptoms, DSM-5 they're having different segregations. The problem with the technology was that as the input symptoms are increasing, either maybe with image processing or with signal processing with other things, if the input symptoms are increasing, the system developed for diagnosis was very difficult to launch, right? So that's why we have used, after the selection of input variables, even we have, developed one manual I'll show you, which we have given to doctors also with proper definitions of each and everything. We have developed one tool which we named as fast and accurate diagnosis of autism, which is giving good results till date. So we have given to doctors from last 6 months, they are using it and they are found it very useful. And again, every week or after every fortnight, they are giving back to us that please improve this thing. This is creating problem. Idea is that our research should not be restricted till publication only, but it should have some impact on actual lives as well. So this is a manual for our tool. So we have developed two modes. One is manual, another is GUI based mode. So these are the 25 symptoms which we have taken under 6 domains. 6 domains, matlab, there are total 6 areas which we have covered: social relationship, emotional response, communication, behavioral model, sensory aspects, cognitive components. So under these 6 broad heads, we have total 25 symptoms after discussion with the doctors, parents, as well as from the research as well, literature as well. So this is our developed system which we have developed with the help of hierarchical fuzzy system. We call it HFS, with a weighted mechanism of fuzzy logic, right? So I have very limited time, so I'm elaborating very quickly. I have one research paper. If you need it, I'll share my email ID also. We can have detailed discussion over it. So we have given a whole scoring mechanism also. Then different scoring mechanism depending on different tests we have developed. 0 to 100. Then different weightages, operational definitions, those 25 variables, how to check for those. So it's a long manual in which we have tried to explain each and everything after consultation with doctors, research, and parents also, right? So we have developed the system. I'll show you that system. This is the hierarchical fuzzy system which we have developed with 25 input variables with weighted aspects, right? So I'll show you directly jumping to the results. This is implementation part. Yes, this was the developed GUI. I'll show you the automatic version of this. We named it FADA, FADA, Fast and Accurate Diagnosis of Autism. Total 25 variables. Under that, we have different variables under different heads, and doctors can objectively select the, if a child has having a poor eye contact, less, moderate, or severe, depending upon those criteria, we have developed, based on hierarchical fuzzy, we have mapped those variables. And finally, we have shown this output that whether a kid is having autism. And there was a problem with the design system. They are not detecting the mostly severe area, that whether sensory aspect is crucial, कि हमें intervention सबसे पहले किस area में देनी है, broad area. So as you can see, in this, emotional response and social relationship are abnormal. Rest of the things are almost normal, right? So overall autism is this. That means it is around moderate. So we need to take care about these two things first, rather than other factors. So then we have conducted the field trials. We have, recruited some autistic kids from different special schools after the written consent from the parents. Then we have applied, IBM SPSS. We have applied some test, sensitivity and specificity. Now this is, interesting. Here, what is being shown that, you can see autism and typically developed have mistakenly written normal. autistic kids are also normal because those are special kids. So you can see FADA means our tool, and CARS is basically that gold standard for autism, right? So you can see that our tool is also distinguishing between autistic kids and normal kids, same as FADA, but our tool has taken very less time, right? Even with 2 visits, a doctor can justify that a child is autistic, but CARS is like a kind of a subjective measure, which is observation based most of the times. So this was a discriminant analysis in which our again tool is performing very well, around you can say 98% accuracy. So these are some measures we have tried for different cutoffs and found that around 34.5 is the actual cutoff for this one, autism. So these were our finding that still our tool is with the doctors, and every day we are improving. My students are improving for this tool for doctors. So this the second part was which face processing was concerned. We have used this tool which is skin conductance response meter. So we are using this tool because our autonomic nervous system, we are having two kind of a nervous system, which is based on your control of organs of heart, stomach, and intensities. One is sympathetic, another is parasympathetic. Sympathetic means which is accountable for activating any glands or organs depending threats and arousal condition. Means अगर हम एक साथ ही कोई चीज स्टिमुलाई अगर हमारे सामने आ जाता है, so हमारे sympathetic nervous system हमारे glands को activate कर देता है. We call it arousal conditions. So that is with sympathetic nervous system. For relaxing those organs, there are parasympathetic system. So these activation of glands or increase in respiration rate can be measured with GSR meter, right? So we have used this GSR meter, you can say GSR sensors we have employed. We have processed their signals, and with different sets, we have established its threshold also. So I'll show you my experiment, what we have done. So we have conducted, I'm skipping this thing, right? Because these are some materials and methods. So we have used this sensor, Neolog GSR logger sensor from the non-preferred hand. Why we have written non-preferred? Because then only we can have noiseless signal from that hand. So this was the most important part, and it is the most difficult part because kids with autism, they don't like that something would be connected with their hands on or their heads, like with EEG or MRIs and all, right? So it's very difficult. With the help of parents, we trained them for that band through which we are taking GSR signals, right? So this experiment we have conducted, I'll give you the brief introduction of this experiment. So in experiment 1, we wanted to find that whether children with autism, they are processing faces as an innate process or they are taking as an object only. So we have given different stimuli. So this was our experiment design based on our literature. So we have taken faces which were unknown faces, and even we have taken learned means जो उनको पहले से पता है जिन चीजों का, learned non-face stimuli. Again, it will differ for person to person, kid to kid it was different. So I have taken one sample only. So उनको दिखाए गए कुछ time के लिए under structured environment. So what we have found, this was one actual you can say participant through which we have connected signals. So what was our, these are some technical know-hows, like we have processed the data. This is some statistical things that we have taken two groups, if you can see here. So we have taken two groups, one with typically developed group with the same age group and gender match, and autistic group, right? So what we have found that group effect was non-significant, means same way autistic kids were behaving as with the typically developed groups, right? So you can see here, so the red bar is basically when they are watching objects, and red bar is basically when they are watching faces. So you can easily recognize this graph is basically GSR amplitude in microsiemens, right? and on the x-axis there are subjects. So typically developed children, they are producing a difference between faces and learned objects. And same is with autistic kids. So same, and we can say that they are behaving in the same way as the typically developed children are behaving as far as learned objects and faces are concerned, right? So this graph we have taken from SPSS. As you can see on the again x-axis, there are AST. So this is stimuli to learned objects. These are unfamiliar faces, which is showing that there is a clear difference between amplitude difference between objects as well as faces. Means they are able to recognize faces from objects through their FFA, that is fusiform gyrus area. So these were our findings that they are clearly able to recognize faces from the learned non-face stimuli, right? So in our second experiment, we have taken familiar faces and unfamiliar faces. Means whether the kids with autism are able to identify faces, familiar faces or not, right? For example, if a kid is, perceiving faces from the age of 6 months, and if, they are recognizing their mother, father from an age of, let's say, 1.5 year, then obviously they should have something different with familiar faces and unfamiliar faces. So we have developed our hypothesis that whether they are able to understand or recognize the difference between their familiar faces, means they're very close relative. They are meeting those relatives or parents regularly, siblings, close relatives and all, right? So what we found that there was not a, there is no so much of difference between amplitudes of both. Means there is no difference of familiar and non-familiar faces with autistic kids. As you can see, even statistically also, there is no difference between stimuli, right? As you can see, the graphs are almost matched in case of ASD kids. I'm not discussing it statistically, just I'm giving you the idea that what are our results. Now in typically developed kids, you can see that there is having difference between amplitude, that in case of familiar faces, they are producing more amplitude on an average as compared to the unfamiliar faces. And this is with repeated ANOVA. Repeated ANOVA means we have not taken once, we have conducted experiment at different times, different locations with structured environment. So this was our main findings with familiar and unfamiliar faces, that ASD kids, they are having, you can see here that this point is overlapped. That means they are not able to recognize between familiar, they are processing faces as an innate process. Innate means naturally there is a difference between face and objects. Means there is some portion at lower brain side, that is FFA, that is able to perceive faces. So autistic kids are able to recognize faces from objects, but they are not distinguishing between familiar and unfamiliar faces. You can see typically developed, they are recognizing the age matched, the gender matched, they are recognizing familiar faces, but these kids are not, getting the difference between the familiar faces and unfamiliar faces, right? So these two findings we have taken with either EEG or with GSR also, right? But EEG, as there are inline findings with GSR signals. So my student, they worked with GSR signals. So they continuously observing kids. They are, taking inputs from the parents that what we can do for it. So finally, they have developed one technological intervention in the form of a mobile app. Now again, we can create a virtual environment. There are in literature even there are very non-practical things. Most of the researchers have done. They have developed sensory rooms. They have developed a number of things. But practically speaking, there is no use. Why? Because a technology which you are developing should be a low cost. Low cost means even a poor person can handle that thing. They can have. If we requested that some of the parents that please buy some laptop so that we can develop some kind of an intervention. They simply will say no, we cannot afford it because we have already spent very much amount on our kids. On we are not so much of rich. Please give us cost-effective solution. So based on the demand of the parents, we have developed one small app. Idea was uh, I have shown you that the problem was that they were unable to understand familiar and unfamiliar faces. And how mothers were teaching to those kids, they are showing them the photograph. This is your brother, this is your uncle, this is your aunt. And after weeks, maybe the kid would be able to recognize some of the persons. Means everyday training of 2 to 4 hours, mother's time, parents' time, and sometimes if kid is not in the mood, they will not learn it at all. So they asked us that kindly develop something that will ease the process of, give them something in which we can browse something from our normal mobile phone, which may cost 3-4 thousand. We can browse them, develop some kind of a games so that students should interestingly, with his or her own consent will do something, and with interest there should be some competitiveness also, so that interest should not be lost. So with that, keep that thing in mind, we have developed one technological intervention because we were working with Soch NGO in Jalandhar. So we named that app as Soch Face ID. So Face ID means face identification. That is a colorful Android-based game intervention. We have developed 4 levels of that game, and still we are developing. We have developed around 10 apps we are providing to those kids, right? Depending upon each parent's requirement. For example, I have told you that every kid is unique. So one app may be specific to one person. Second app may be specific to another person's or person. Why? Because there may be problem with one kid, but not with other 2 kids. Because every child is different, and there may be some kids are hyper, as I have already told you. Some are easily doing communication. Some are having problem with communication. So it is a very challenging task to capture a generic requirement, right? So this thing we have developed generically, but other things we are doing it for for specific requirements also. So we have developed 4 stages. We named different levels or different games. One is face match, one in enhanced memory, then remember name, voice against a picture, right? So this was the first app, or you can say first module, in which a kid has to simply, the parents, they have to click photographs of different person, and for example they can browse photographs from the gallery, and they have to even, for example, match that face, that this face, even you can see we have cropped the other things also, like we have cropped the hair and other things. Why? Because that will also create problem for that kid, right? So this was one face match app. If a kid will, there are different levels, face match, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Now this is the simplest, in which kid has to match one with first with one with one with 2, one with 3, one with 4, one with 5, and every level there is smiley, or you can browse. अगर किसी बच्चे को, for example, 5 star he or she likes, so you can browse the image of 5 star. If a kid will complete 3 levels, he will get 3 5-star chocolates as a reward, and her or his mother will take 5 stars and give it to that kid physically also, right? So that was the idea. Now if the level will increase, obviously the child will feel challenged. It will feel like he would be interested into doing something, and obviously he is getting some rewards also. तो वो अच्छे से सीखता है उस चीज को, इंस्टेड ऑफ के उसको मैनुअली कोई चीज दिखाई जा रही, right? So this was another second part of that app, in which there are question marks. So once a kid will touch on a question mark, one photograph will open, right? And if he will touch on the other one, if that would be of same person, that will be that question mark will go. Then 4 will remain. अब उसमें 4 रह जाएंगे. अब वो 4 क्या करेंगे? पहला खोला, उसकी मदर की फोटोग्राफ आ गई, सेकंड खोला उसके भाई की आ गई, वो दोनों वापस चले जाएंगे, राइट? So that means we named it enhanced memory. So it will increase the mental strength of the kids. They will recognize that if this is open, another one I have to touch the same one. Otherwise, it will go back. So this will another game, different levels, 2, 3, 4, 5, different rewards, different points. This was another one. Third, remember names. If you will touch on something, for example, my name Anurag, that you have according with the sound you have to match the image, because we want that kids should also memorize the names of those persons also, right? Hitain, he should remember Hitain is my brother. He is Hitain. So Hitain, when you will speak Hitain, he should know who is Hitain, right? So your voice, you can capture any, you can have, image from the gallery. You can speak against that name. Even you, if you have to teach them, this is Apple, right? So you can browse the image of Apple. Again, you can record. Now this is again regional also. For example, in Jammu, there may be a Dogri language. In Punjabi, in Punjab, there may be a Punjabi language. In Tamil Nadu, there may be a Tamil language. There should be some kind of a multilingual also. So that was the idea, that you can browse anything. Parents can record their voice with a low cost solution, so that they can match faces, they can match images, they can have, with shapes, circle with circle, triangle with triangle. Means the idea was there should be some kind of an app which would be cost effective, which would be Android based. Any parents, any NGO, they can shift to technological interventions, because they were doing it manually and it was consuming so much of time, right? So that was the idea of developing this kind of a technological intervention. And even we have given to different NGOs. I think this app we have given to 10 NGOs. They are working with this apps, and we are getting positive results, and which will even motivating us to develop different kind of technological interventions also. These are again experimental design, right? So again, two groups we have taken. One was a manual, we named it manually trained group. Another was Soch Face ID group. First, obviously, we have to give training to the parents, because this game was new to them also. So first we trained parents, and then parents given training to their kids. So obviously, they shifting from manual to technological thing is always difficult. But you can see, if you see the results, it would be very, positive. You can see. Now you can see. So typically developed children, we have seen that they are already producing difference between familiar and unfamiliar faces. But before intervention, there was a very negligible difference. After repeated ANOVA, right? After repeating tests, they are not producing any kind of a difference between familiar and unfamiliar faces. But after intervention, they are producing some difference between these two, familiar and unfamiliar faces. Even what you can see here, so the results are opposite, right? Results are opposite means the typically developed children, they are having, higher amplitude for familiar faces, and the other one, for unfamiliar faces, the amplitude is lower, right? But in case of autistic kids, they are having less amplitude for familiar faces and large amplitudes for unfamiliar faces. So we even tried to find out for this also. You can see from this graph also that, now they are producing differences between familiar and unfamiliar faces. Although there is a difference between amplitudes in contrast to, you can say, the typically developed children, right? So the difference, what we found according to our research was that, they are getting afraid from the unfamiliar faces. That's why they are producing more sweats. They are having, if you remember that concept of parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, there when they are watching unfamiliar facing, now they are able to recognize faces and they know who is our familiar face, who is our unfamiliar face. So once they are having unfamiliar facing, they are getting afraid of that faces and they are producing more sweats. So that thing is positive for us. Why positive? Because now at least they are able to distinguish between familiar and unfamiliar faces, right? So that means our app is working good. But now what is the advantage of app? Now see, both the things, whether we are training them manually or whether we are training them through some technological intervention, we have seen the results were almost same, with the difference that the game has been played by the kid itself for at least 6 weeks, and in manually trained, parents were being with the kids, right? So इसका मतलब क्या है कि जो 3-4 घंटे पेरेंट्स अपना स्पेंड कर रहे थे टीच करने के लिए ऑटिस्टिक किड के लिए, नाउ दे आर the kids are themselves enjoying that game. Why? Because they are getting rewards, they are being involved into the game. Now mothers are free at that time, means in their assignment they have, that Soch NGO, they have maintained a timetable that this timetable is for vocational training, manual and technological. This time is for play, that is obviously a physical play. Then this time is for learning new things. This is for something else. So what we have seen, what feedback we have received from the parents, that now the students are learning in no time through technological interventions. Why? Because they are having interest with virtual techniques, virtual either tablets or gadgets, and they are being involved into those things. वो जल्दी सीख रहे हैं, कम टाइम में सीख रहे हैं, हमारा भी टाइम बच गया एज अ पेरेंट, हम उस टाइम पे कुछ और कर लेते हैं, पेरेंट्स अपना इन्वॉल्व रहते हैं. सो दैट इज द बिग positive point of technological interventions, right? So this was the second hypothesis, that whether there is any difference or not. So obviously you can see here, with manual intervention, with flashcard, we usually said, with flashcards and with our developed intervention, both are producing positive result. But obviously you can see this curve. This curve shows that, A is a typically developed group in which they are having some amplitude, that in very less time they are detecting faces, right? The next bar graph is for, this one, this B is for pre-intervention of ASD group. They're unable to differentiate between familiar and unfamiliar faces, right? So C was with Soch trained group, that latencies you can see very less and with no time, as compared to typically developed, in very less time they are recognizing it, right? And D is with manually trained group. Manually means कि mothers ने उनको सिखाया था photograph दिखा के flash card से. So they are taking more time as compared to the C part, which was the Soch face ID game. So time is less, mothers are free, students are learning in an effective way. So that was a reward for us also. So till date we have developed more than, I think, 7-8 games, and we have already delivered to different NGOs of Jalandhar, Ludhiana and Patiala, because those are working with autistic kids. So every week or every 10 days, my team, along with my seniors and juniors, we visit to NGOs, we find out some kind of a problem, and we try to solve each and everything, right? कि कुछ छोटी सी चीज मिल जाए जो उनकी लाइफ को थोड़ा सा स्मूथ कर सकती है, ताकि हम उनकी लाइफ को थोड़ा इजी कर सके. Obviously they can learn, right? They are not mentally retarded, they are autistic, and autistic kids can always learn with new technological intervention with different methods, right? So these were some theoretical things, data analysis for publication of papers and all. So finally we concluded that after parents feedback, we are giving these things to therapists, to parents, to caretakers. These apps, these diagnosis tool we have already sent to 3-4 hospitals also. Those who are using it, and continuously we are improving it. So these are some, news clipping that we have detected some kind of interventions, some kind of diagnosis tool, and obviously this was due to those persons only, those who by which who I'm here only, right? So this is some kind of certification from that Autism Society of Punjab, those who are being into helping those autistic kids. So these are some references, and thank you so much. If you have any question, you're more than welcome.
Sir, there is one question from Pragya Agarwal.
Yes.
Sir, how accurate is AI in diagnosis of autism in unborn child?
Autism, sorry.
Sir, how accurate is artificial intelligence in the diagnosis of autism in unborn child?
See, ma'am, I'm saying again that thing that still the causes are unborn, that the causes are not identified, that what is the reason of autism. So if a child is not born even, right? So you cannot, I don't think that still there is any kind of a method or any kind of a AI tool which can diagnose in womb only. That if a child has not been born and you want to detect that, still I haven't read or I haven't seen practically. Even when I talk with doctor, even till the age of 3 years, even still the doctors are not labeling a child autistic, because some of the traits of autistic kids and a normal kid are also being matched. तो आप उसको 3 साल की एज तक तो डिस्टिंग्विश कर ही नहीं सकते, राइट? तो अनबॉर्न चाइल्ड की बात ही अलग है. तो अगर 3 साल तक वो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, अगर वो कई ऐसी चीजें हैं, देखो, जो नॉर्मल बच्चा भी बिहेव करता है उस तरह से, राइट? तो अगर आप किसी बच्चे को बिना किसी प्रूफ के उसको ऑटिस्टिक बोल दो, दैट इज मेडिकली नॉट एथिकल. तो आप किसी को लेबल करने से पहले आप 100 बार सोचते हो. व्हाई? बिकॉज इट इज नॉट एथिकल इफ यू आर सेइंग यू आर ऑटिस्टिक बट लेटर ऑन ये पता चले वो ऑटिस्टिक था ही नहीं. तो इसीलिए डॉक्टर भी कभी भी पहली, दूसरी, तीसरी विजिट में जब तक उसको पूरा श्योरिटी नहीं मिल जाता, जब तक वो 2-3 डॉक्टर ओवर से कंसल्ट नहीं कर लेता, तब तक वो कभी भी लेबल नहीं करता दैट दैट किड is autistic or not. So मुझे अभी तक, according to my survey, according to my interaction with the doctors, I don't think that still there is any mechanism or any AI tool which is detecting an unborn child is autistic, right?
Sir, I want to add one point into this, and for Pragya Agarwal's question. Earlier, when we were starting of thinking about this autism, that time this thing came into my mind. Why don't we predict this autism before the child born? Even we can have some biomarkers of pregnant women.
Yes,
we can find out whether the child will suffer from this type of disorder or not. But at that time, when I consult too many gynecologists, what they suggested me is, ma'am, in our society, if this thing happens, it is not possible for us to tell that lady that the child is going to give birth. Otherwise, what happens? They'll stop the pregnancy over there. In our society, most of the cases are there. If we came to know that the child we are going to give birth has suffered from this much of disorder, will not continue with the pregnancy.
Definitely.
So this type of work will be somewhat not liked by the society. कि अगर आप ऐसा होगा, तो we have तब हमने stop कर दिया ये चीज, वहाँ सोचना बंद कर दिया. But this too came into my mind.
Yes, because that is, we are still considering it's a social stigma.
Yes,
अगर कोई
exactly.
special children है तो why? Because हमारी society उस बच्चे को किस तरह से पढ़ाना है, उसको nurture किस तरह से करना है, हमारे पास उस तरह के methods ही नहीं है. Especially in Western countries, so they have developed different techniques. Even our schools, they are having no provision for autism.
Exactly.
I have seen here in Cambridge School in Jalandhar, we have one provision of special children education. Except that school, there is no school I have seen that those who are giving education to a kid, right?
Sir, I have a live example. There's one child in my son's class who is 5 to 6 years old, who is suffering from this autism. What happened earlier, school was very cooperative in nursery or KG, but when they were shifted to UKG, even the principal told that lady, "Ke ma'am, kindly shift your child to some other school because we don't have so much of maids in the school, so that take care of your child. So kindly shift your child to the other school."
Yes, yes.
So it is a very, you can say, a very difficult and very dicey topic. Only that person can understand. जिसने देखा होगा ऐसा case, that आपने बोला, only mother can understand
Yes,
this.
yes. Ma'am, because
The pain, the guilt.
I have seen, like, I have attended so many seminars. Even I have taken training from AFA also, Action for Autism, New Delhi. So what I have seen that, जब भी मेरे से कोई पूछता था ना, आपकी बैकग्राउंड, आपके घर में भी कोई ऐसा है, so I said कि नहीं, ऐसा नहीं कि मैं I am working with autistic kids, and sometimes they start crying कि why you are working,
Why you are-
right? What is your problem? तो आप हमारी हेल्प कर रहे हो, तो मीन्स चलो एटलीस्ट कोई तो हमारे बारे में सोच रहा है. इवन हमारे खुद, हमारी मदर इन लॉज, हमारी मदर्स, दे आर सेइंग दैट जो जैसा है उसको वैसे रहने दो, ये नहीं ठीक होगा. So this topic, you can see it as a, so there are two things. One, it's a research. Another, we have to do something. So these two things cannot be matched. As a researcher, we have to publish only, right? As an, if we are working for society, if we are doing something for society, this small things as an engineer is a very big things for mothers. उनके लिए थोड़ी सी चीज भी एक बहुत बड़ी चीज है. So I request each and everyone के अगर आप थोड़ा सा भी काम कर लो इन स्पेशल चिल्ड्रन के लिए, it will improve the lives of whole family also. So that is my request, and so I think I can wind up with this only. Anything else, everyone? Any other questions?
So there is no more queries. Thank you so much, sir. Your
Thank you
session
very
was
much.
very informative. And I think you have pictured this research problem explicitly, and you have given us so much content to explore. So thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And
Thank
I think
you,
we
ma'am,
certainly
for
look
the
forward
opportunity.
to another interaction in the future.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Anytime. Most welcome.
Okay. So I humbly request all the participants to kindly join the next session tomorrow morning by 10 a.m.